How's it going, everyone? This is Billy Keels with Keep On Cash Flow, and today I want to talk to you specifically if you are working in a corporate job. For those of you specifically that are in sales or in management, I want to talk to you about something that, a scenario that's probably happened to you many, many times, but more importantly, talk to you about ways that you can set yourself up and not have to always be worried about what's the next quarter going to bring. Right? Because that's almost exclusively associated with money coming in the door. And what do I mean by that? Well, recently I've talked to a good friend of mine, and this scenario is probably going to sound very familiar, right? The friend of mine had been called by a recruiter who is also in the IT industry. So of course, that happens, and I'm sure you've had that call or you've had that LinkedIn inbox mail that says, hey, listen, come work for company X, and they put the logo and you can make this amount of money, and they really want your profile. So that's a story that happens all the time, specifically with social media, and the fact that if you're doing your job properly, you're always going to have somebody that's looking around. And so in a very similar, and this happened to a friend of mine, so that got us talking. And the fact that that's probably happened to you before, immediately what starts going in your mind is how much more money can I make versus what I'm making today to do something very similar, if not the same role, just changing the company logo. And that would have been okay, except for the fact that my friend sat down and realized that if he just kept looking at, exchanging his time for money, then what would happen in 15 years when he was 65 years old or 60 years old trying to make a change to a new job? So he realized that this would go on forever if he didn't just stop. Now, fortunately, the friend of mine, we'd been speaking before, and had already had some idea about not wanting to have to be in this cycle for the rest of his life. And because he had taken time before to sit down, the two of us sat down and looked at, what was his projections, like what were his goals, his dreams, what did he really want to do before the retirement age. And so this went against every single thing that he had already known, because one of the things that we talked about was what Keep On is actually able to do. And so going through all of these different options for his life, or creating new alternatives for his life in terms of income, he went through everything. He went through, number one, you're supposed to invest your money in your pension plan or in mutual funds. Or you want to definitely, if you're going to do something else, if you're going to inherit a property, you want to do that in Spain in this case, and keep that property, and also make sure that you keep investing in the similar kind of currency, right? Euros to euros. So, but because he'd already gone through all of these different emotions and had gone through these different options, he'd taken the time to look at what options actually work best for him to be able to create new sources of income. And because he'd done all of that work already, when he got the recruiter call this time, of course he was seduced by, hey, listen, we're going to go and we're going to pay you more money. And so maybe he listened to it this time, but the fact of the matter is, when the recruiting process was going on, he was able to realize how happy he was in his current corporate role. And he didn't have to jump just because he was going to make more pre-tax earnings today, right? So he went across, he dealt with things that you don't normally have to deal with, going against what he'd always been taught, to look at new types of alternatives, and ultimately making decisions to create new streams of income for himself. And the fact that he'd done that, he was able to make a very rational decision, whereas in the past he may have just jumped because he was able to make more money. But because his house is already in order, he's able to look at new opportunities, new alternatives in a really holistic way. So he's not just chasing behind the euros or the dollars. He's making the decisions that are the best for him and for his family. So now he's living in a less stressed environment. He's making decisions on his terms, on his way, and when he wants to do it. And one of the things I always say is he's able to sleep really well at night because he knows that he's not just going to work for that one source of income, and he is working for income that is, or he has other streams of income that are paying him, not just on paper, but are actually paying him. So the reason that I want to share that with you is because it is a liberating opportunity when you can make decisions based on what is best for you, what is best for your family, not just chasing the euros or just chasing the dollars. And because this friend of mine, we'd already gone through a very similar type of exercise, one of the things that I have started doing now, and I'd like to offer to you, is give you a chance to also just create a base level of understanding of what new opportunities you can create for yourself, for your family. But it's all got to start with a basic understanding of a different asset class specifically. I mean, for those of you that have been watching and following, you know that I love US real estate because of what it can do. And in terms of creating the lifestyle that you want, because you're able to create income, like cash flowing income that you can actually touch. And that's really important. So what I've done, because I want to put you on a very similar path as I've been able to help other people now start to get on. And I want to provide you with a base level of understanding of how you can go out and create returns with real estate. How you can not only create returns with real estate, but also you can apply this type of model to other types of businesses. Maybe you're looking to start your own business. But the fact of the matter is you can look at it in a very simple, easy to look at format that I've created for you. And I'm going to put it in this video. So there's a 4-part series, or it's actually a little bit more than 4 parts. I think it's 6 parts in total, but I'm going to give you an overview of the different ways that you can create returns in real estate. And from that overview, once you see the overview, you're going to definitely want to go in and do the step-by-step. Now, I will tell you now that the step-by-step process that you're going to get, and you're going to get to keep it forever, it's going to cost you some money. It's symbolic, I guess, more than anything else, because if you're out going to lunch and dinner, trust me, you're going to be more than able to afford it. And the reason I'm doing it at such an affordable price is I want you to have access to this same type of information and data that helped me to get started. And it's going to help you create new alternatives. So like I said, you're not going to be chasing behind the euros, chasing behind the dollars, because you're going to be investing in yourself. And by investing in yourself, you're going to create the opportunities, you're going to create the alternatives for your future. So I'm going to make it really, really simple. I'm going to leave a link in this video, and I never know if their links are over here, or down here. But what you're going to want to do is click the link. Definitely click the link. Get the overview of the different 4 ways that you can make returns in make money. This is the way you can make money in real estate. And after you do that, do yourself a favor, click on the next link and go ahead, make the very small investment. Keep the videos, they're yours forever. And then we'll continue to move forward. I'm also wanting to hear what your feedback is after having watched the videos, because they're going to be life changers. They're going to help you create new alternatives for yourself where you're not locked in just one single source of income. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. Always continue to share these videos, leave your comments. You're really helping the community to grow. I appreciate your investment and your time. This is Billy Keels. It's my 2 cents for today. As always, hasta la próxima.